Hello everyone, this is the public information meeting presentation that was made at the public information meeting on July 15th, 2025. This is a recording that was made after the public information meeting, as the public information meeting was not recorded live. The application for this presentation relates to a land use bylaw map and text amendment application. The property proposing to be rezoned is at 830 Belcher Street in Port Williams. My name is Perry Bowman and I am the planner assigned to this application. Drew Redden is the applicant who is working on behalf of Atlantic Poultry Incorporated, and Councillor Doug Gates is the councillor for District 2. So the purpose of this presentation is to explain the proposal and to explain the planning policies that enable this application to occur. Municipal Council votes to make the final decision on a planning application at a council meeting. That council meeting will occur at some point in the future. No decisions have been made at this time. So this is a map of the County of Kings with the red circle indicating the approximate location of the subject site within the greater community of Port Williams. In terms of the proposal, there are two parts, but ultimately the intended outcome is to be able to expand at the existing egg grading facility that is at 830 Belcher Street. So part one is to amend the text of the land use bylaw to include existing agricultural related industries within the list of permitted uses within the agricultural A1 zone, noting that this change will not permit new agricultural related industries. It will only permit existing agricultural related industries. Part two is to rezone 830 Belcher Street from the rural industrial M3 zone to the agricultural A1 zone. So this is an aerial image of 830 Belcher Street and surrounding land. 830 Belcher Street is approximately 1.72 acres in area and has approximately 420 feet of street frontage. So I will note that the land that surrounds the subject site on three sides is also owned by Atlantic Poultry Incorporated, along with the land to the south of Belcher Street. So just to give a bit more information regarding the proposed expansion, I will note that when I'm discussing the development plans that this application process does not give consent for development. But during the assessment of this application, the general criteria ask us or staff to consider if there will be any land use conflicts, which is why we ask the applicants to provide general information on what they are proposing to develop. So, for the sake of this explanation, we have the existing egg grading facility at 830 Belcher Street, and we have the old egg grading facility at 840 Belcher Street. The proposal is to demolish the old egg grading facility at 840 Belcher Street and expand the egg grading facility that is at 830 Belcher Street. The hypothetical proposed building footprint would look something like the blue rectangle on the screen. The applicant has advised that in order to do this in a way that would mean that they have as little downtime as possible so that they can continue to process eggs while new development is occurring, they would develop the eastern end as much as possible before connecting the eastern portion of construction to the existing egg grading facility. Ultimately, this time they are looking to replace their existing egg grading machinery, so not to increase capacity, but bring in newer technology that is more efficient in this process. So in terms of the zoning, this is a zoning map of the subject site and surrounds in Port Williams. As you can see, 830 Belcher Street is currently zoned the rural industrial M3 zone, with the surrounding land located in the agricultural A1 zone. So when the new planning documents were adopted in 2019, zoning for specific uses was put in place I guess, as we'd call spot zoning, so that where uses differentiated from the general intent of surrounding land, we could accommodate those uses. So this is the future land use designation map. As we can see, the site and surrounding lands are all located in the agricultural designation, which is shown in yellow. The designation of the land, or future land use designation of land, shows what the general intent of the land is for, but also when changes are proposed to be made, it identifies what changes can be made. So this map may not look like much, but it, I guess, is a hypothetical to show what the zoning of the area would look like if this application is approved in its current form, with all of the land, including 830 Belcher Street, being zoned for A1 or agricultural uses. So this is an image of the subject site looking southeast. We can see where the eggs are currently delivered to the existing egg grading facility and, I guess, unloaded and brought into the facility. This is looking from Belcher Street at the old egg grading facility and then the newer or existing egg grading facility in the background here. This is a different view of the building or the old egg grading facility that is proposed to be demolished. This is looking down the rear of the subject site. So we have the existing egg grading facility here in the background, and then the old egg grading facility here, which is proposed to be demolished. And then this is looking south across the road at the land that is also owned by Atlantic Poultry Incorporated. So moving into policy, there are set policies that enable us to consider applications. So Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.3 states that Council shall consider amendments to any one of the zoning maps of the land use bylaw, provided the applications for a specific development. In this case, we've been advised that it's to expand the existing egg grading facility, and A is to rezone land to another zone enabled within the same designation. So as we saw before on the future land use designation map, the subject site and surrounding land is located in the agricultural designation, and the agricultural designation permits the agricultural A1 zone. Further to that, Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.5 states that Council shall consider in relation to all applications to rezone land. Point A, the applicable zone placement policies. Point B, the impact of both the specific development proposal and of other possible uses permitted in the zone. So this relates to the fact that when we are looking to change to a different zone, if successful, not only the use applied for will be permitted, all other uses permitted in that zone could hypothetically be undertaken on the land, so we need to consider if this is the right location for those uses. And then point C, the general criteria for amending the land use bylaw set out in section 5.3, development agreements and amending the land use bylaw. So in regards to point A of that last slide, this is the zone placement policy for the agricultural A1 zone and what we need to consider when looking at if this site is the right location for it. So the agricultural A1 says lands located in this zone are those identified as high capability agricultural lands for future agricultural production. This zone will provide maximum flexibility for agricultural and complementary uses and limit non-farming development, including residential development. So in regards to point B of the previous policy slide, 2 slides ago, these are the uses that are permitted in both the rural industrial M3 zone and the agricultural A1 zone. So the uses in blue we would lose through this rezoning if approved, and the uses in yellow we would gain if this application is approved in its current form. Noting that a text amendment is also proposed which would permit existing agricultural related industries. So if you'd like to pause the presentation here, please do so and have a review of the land uses that are permitted in each of the options in terms of zoning. And then point C of policy was to consider the general criteria, which is set out under Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.7. I will note that the municipality of the County of Kings is not always the body of jurisdiction when it comes to assessing some of these criteria. So in those cases, we do request comments from that body of jurisdiction, and we include those in our decision. So we need to consider, is the proposal consistent with the intent of the municipal planning strategy? Does it conflict with any municipal or provincial programs, bylaws, or regulations? Is there any financial impact on the municipality? Are there any land use compatibility issues? Would there be any creation of hazards or traffic congestion? Is there adequate fire protection services and equipment available? Are there adequate sewer and water services available? Would there be any impact on identified well fields or groundwater supplies? Would there be any pollution caused? Is there the potential for flooding or serious drainage problems, and any negative impacts on neighbouring farming operations? And is the site generally suitable? So those are all the things we need to consider when addressing an application for a rezoning. When it comes to considering a text amendment, this is the enabling policy. So Municipal Planning Strategy Policy 5.3.2 states that council shall amend the text of the land use bylaw provided the amendment is consistent with the visions, goals, and objectives of this strategy. So staff need to consider the proposal against all of the different sections that include visions, goals, and objectives within the municipal planning strategy through the assessment process. So this is the land use bylaw map amendment process and text amendment process. It starts both the municipality receiving a completed application from an applicant. Following that, there is a public information meeting. This presentation was made at the public information meeting but was re-recorded following that meeting. Following that, there is a staff review where we send the application out to other bodies with jurisdiction for comments, and a staff report is written and along with a recommendation which is presented to the Planning Advisory Committee. The Planning Advisory Committee then votes on a motion or recommendation to forward to the full Municipal Council at first reading. At first reading, Council consider whether to authorise a public hearing. If a public hearing is authorised, neighbouring properties within 500 feet will be notified. Following the public hearing, full Municipal Council will vote and make a decision on the application. So second reading is where Council makes a decision. And following that decision, there is a 14-day appeal period. So if anyone has any comments or questions following this presentation, once again, my name is Perry Bowman. My phone number is 902-690-6150, or you can email me at pbowman@countyofkings.ca. Thank you.